Yeah, my name is Edward Katende. I am an executive director of Uganda Development Forum. I want to congratulate my brother Willie for this far he has come. We started the conversion when I worked here in London as an insolvency practitioner, but working with him, we came to meeting like this. Opportunities back in Uganda were presented to us. I just went to test opportunities and I stayed there. I left what people call the big monies in London, went to Uganda where actually than what I was making here in London. So for those who are still in London, it is great, keep working. For those who want to come back, don't fear to make the leap to join us. Our economy, like they are presented, is growing, expected to grow 10 times between now and 2040. We have great opportunities. So on this panel, we have colleagues who are investing, who are involved in those 4 sectors that we have mentioned earlier. So the ATMs, as they call them. But they are also enablers. I think in the morning, Governor, you did not talk about the enablers. While we have the ATMs, those are sectors. But we also have the enablers that will power our 10-fold growth strategy, including infrastructure, security, and other sectors of the economy. So for real jobs, certainly the 4, but our key enablers are still open for investment. What are the opportunities that you see in your daily work that you can tell the investors in this room to come and join you?
Thank you. I'll try and take the 3 minutes. Gridworks was set up to invest in transmission and distribution in Africa because there was a recognition of the bottlenecks in electricity transmission and the distribution. Looking at the continent, the market that Gridworks chose as its first and probably most important market was Uganda. And there's a reason for that. The reason we selected Uganda is because the regulation, the laws in the electricity sector were very well developed. And the country had experience in dealing with private sector investment and managing that investment in a way that allowed for a private developer, for the private investors to actually do a good job and make money while develop the country. So Gridworks selected Uganda as its first and to date most important country to invest in. We expect over the next maybe 3-4 years to invest about $500 million in the electricity transmission sector. We also have interest in investing further within the different subsectors in electricity, that's within distribution as well. We see that Uganda, as I already said, the structure of the sector promotes private sector investment, and we encourage the government, and as I said earlier, we thank the Ministry of Energy and other supportive ministries around it to continue in that trajectory to ensure that we continue attracting the kind of investment that is required to develop infrastructure. What do I see as opportunities in electricity and wider infrastructure? One is on the independent power transmission. That's the backlog for electricity transmission in Uganda is about $3 billion of investment required to maintain the state of development. And that means government alone cannot invest in all the infrastructure required for just transmission. That needs to come from somewhere. Companies like us are ready to come in and invest, but there'll be a need for even more companies to invest in electricity transmission. The other space, which I know the government has looked at quite a lot, has been in the diversification of power generation, including geothermal, wind, nuclear, as we see it already going in that direction. And those are areas where potential investors can look at. What I would see as I end is that there is a perception, maybe a perception that investing in markets like Uganda, because we are asked this question, why didn't you go to, when a company is thinking about investment in Africa, you always think about South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, or Egypt as your base for investment. And so there is a perception that those are the areas where there is opportunity to invest. But when you go below the surface, you realize that markets like Uganda are actually very interesting and very good for investment. And I would encourage the government representatives who are here, as well as ourselves, companies that are already investing in Uganda, to continue to encourage those with deep pockets to be able to invest, because that's what infrastructure requires. Thank you.
So those of you who have been here from morning, you heard from what the Deputy Governor of Uganda talked about. He mentioned the focus of the 4th National Development Plan for Uganda, about the ATMs, the agribusiness, tourism, science and technology, and mineral development, including oil and gas. All that rotates about sustainable and affordable electricity to spur agriculture for value addition, and also science and technology requires sustainable and affordable electricity. So in the energy sector, first of all, it is important to note that the Uganda's energy mix is comprised of renewable energy, clean energy. And this is the message I have been telling the world when we have been criticized about our petroleum resources development, because it is fossil fuel. And I've been asking them, you talk about energy transition, clean energy transition. In Uganda, we have only clean energy. So we want to expand it by making more investment. We don't have money, but we have resources. We discovered petroleum, commercial petroleum, in 2006, and we want to develop it to get money so that we can invest in the generation and transmission of renewable energy, hydropower, solar, geothermal, nuclear energy. It's only money that we've been lacking. To note that in Uganda, we only have 50 megawatt plant, which is a security plant, which is using HFO, heavy fuel oil. And it is on standby. When you need it, because it is a security plant, then you call for production. Otherwise, the rest of the source of electricity in Uganda is renewable, is hydropower. So on that path, we want more investment in power generation. Uganda's potential is not yet fully exploited in as far as generation of electricity is concerned. You've been hearing us talking about Karuma, the biggest hydropower plant, which we commissioned, 600 megawatts. Karuma. But that's not enough. We want to have a serious investor to come and pull off 840 megawatts of hydropower from Ayago. We want somebody to come and pull off power from Kiba, 400 megawatts. Hydro, clean. I think the cleanest source of power that I know of. Then 392 megawatts from Aryong. We want cheaper money so that we can make affordable electricity, so that we can power the industries with affordable electricity. And the president has directed me to reduce the tariff for industries to 5 US cents per kilowatt hour. That is good. Here where we are, I know power is expensive. About 25 US cents per kilowatt hour. But our president in the Republic of Uganda wants 5 US cents. And for extra large industries, as I speak now, we are at 5 US cents per kilowatt hour. So there are a lot of sources for exploitation of energy. And the background was given by Professor why you should invest in Uganda. The legal regime in electricity industry favors you. We have now opened for independent electricity generators. You generate your power, you sell it. We have opened the transmission segment to you. You construct the transmission line because power has to be transmitted, has to be evacuated from the plant. You can create, you can construct your own transmission line and you toll it. We pay you through the tariff. Our regulator has to regulate the kind of, money that you are going to invest. Otherwise, we may end up again raising the cost of power because we know what it takes. Independent power transmitters are now being regulated. The regulations are out. Last mile connection is very critical. How can we talk about excess power in Uganda, yet we have villages and industries that do not have power? But now we are receiving many investors coming in Uganda to establish data centers because they heard that in Uganda we have excess power. This excess power is in quotes. It is excess because you've not been assisted to pull this power in your house or your business. So we need to invest in last mile connection. There is a company that had a 20-year-old concession to distribute power, Umeme, the known Umeme. The concession ended and Uganda's own company, Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, is now in charge. So what next? What do I want from you? You may ask me, what do you want us, how do you want UK to partner with you on this? Because last mile connection is the reason why we still talk about excess power in Uganda. Because we have not invested enough money in the distribution network in the country. So what I'm looking for now is a partner with Uganda Electricity Distribution Company to be able to manage the outages, power unreliability, which is happening now, where we have to inject more transformers to stabilize power. We have to work on the old distribution network When it rains, and you know in Uganda we receive a lot of rain. When it rains, branches of trees fall on the lines, poles fall down, power cut. Then you have to rush and make sure that you rectify. So Uganda Electricity Distribution Company needs to partner with somebody. It is now a few months since they took over from Umene. Since March 31st this year, when we did the big switch from Umene to UEDCL. We have worked on the staff where we have gotten 94% of former Umene staff into UEDCL. UEDCL has the license to distribute now. That is its worth. So the partnership will come. We need to construct these lines to the industries. Coffee processing industries. We need to pull power to them. So on power generation, transmission, and distribution, big deal. We need to partner together. On the generation, I told you the sources. We have potential for nuclear energy for peaceful use. Nuclear energy potential for Uganda is 24,000 megawatts. We are beginning with one in Buyende, and we expect to generate 8,400 megawatts of nuclear power, at least by 2031. So there is no excess power in Uganda. It is excess because the network for its distribution is not there. Let me cross to oil and gas. Only good news. And I want to thank my president who decided to invest into training of Ugandans. And those Ugandans discovered that Uganda has commercial oil. Ugandans. The Kalisas, Hanesti Rubondo, my PS Vatebe, and that team that the president took to study in Norway, in Stavanger, and other places. And they know what they are doing. And that's why we now ended up with these two development blocks that are going to develop the 270,000 barrels of crude oil every day. And 60,000 barrels out of that is going to be refined. That means we shall have an industrial park which is being developed. The refinery is being developed. That deal is no longer there. We already have a partner. We have a second international airport within the oil region. A second international airport that will facilitate even the movement of tourists, because where we have oil is a tourist area. Action Falls, it's a tourist area. We receive many tourists. So with a refinery in the area, an industrial park, which is going to take off what comes out of the refinery. A businessman or woman is looking at this as an opportunity. The gas that is going to come along, the associated gas that Professor talked about, some of which we shall use to power the East African crude oil pipeline that is going to carry the crude, which is not going to be refined. Our oil is waxy, it needs heating. We've been tussling it out with the environmentalists, and we have proved that we can do this without being injurious to the environment, because the pipeline is insulated. 3 layers, and the insulation plant is in Tonga, in Tabora, in Sojo village, in Tanzania. That's where the insulation plant is. And we've started laying pipes. We've done like 57% of the East African crude oil pipeline. That attracted investment also. We shall be getting money from that crude. So the rest of the gas, you can use it to get ammonium nitrate, for example. I'm not shy to talk about the need for explosives. It is dangerous to import explosives. And you know that Uganda has minerals, all the minerals that the world needs. How do you extract the minerals without using explosives? Is it possible? Maybe there is technology that can do that. But what we are doing in Uganda, we need to blast. And so, from the oil and gas, we are going to facilitate the mining industry. You see that integration? By ammonium nitrate, you'll be able to get explosives, but you can also get fertilizers to increase production and productivity. Food is power. If Uganda didn't have food, I don't know how we would have survived the COVID-19. The whole country was locked down. People rushed to the villages and resorted to digging. The soils are fertile. Food is medicine. Food is power. Food is growth. From petroleum, we are expecting to get fertilizers. Mining sector is going to facilitate renewable energy. We need battery storage to be able to get the solar power so that we don't affect the stability of the grid. The national grid has capacity. So, the lithium batteries, the cobalt that we have, the copper that we have, all that can facilitate the other transition. And now we have, this is very important, we have the National Mining Company in place. This company is going to de-risk your project, because if you are going to be a large-scale miner, you are going to enter into the mineral production sharing agreement with the Uganda National Mining Company. Working with government is better. The law does not allow exportation of unprocessed minerals in Uganda, whether you like it or yes. It doesn't allow. So, you are going to transfer knowledge to Ugandans. You are going to work with Ugandans and get the maximum value that we expect from the mineral resources. Let me pause now.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting to pose questions. I think you understand why we are number one in growth at the moment.
Hello, thank you. My name is Nikolai. I'm from McDonald. We've heard a lot about the energy transition and mineral extraction resources and the importance of exporting that. My question is, how do you go about speaking to other nearby countries on transportation and logistics? How do you make sure those minerals are exported via the right routes?
Thank you. Any more questions, members? Hands? Raise hands. Honourable, I know you are to the point, so I don't see any more questions, so please proceed with that one.
Thank you very much. Actually, wherever I have gone, in international summits and conferences, I speak about Africa first. I am the spokesperson for Africa, and as far as extractives are concerned. We are working with our neighbors. On the energy side, we have the Eastern African Power Pool. Currently, I'm the chairperson of the Council of Ministers. We are 14 countries. We are constructing transmission lines to continue with trade in power. We sell power to Kenya, 60 megawatts. We sell power to Rwanda, 80 megawatts. And the transmission line, that side, has a capacity of increasing this to 100. We sell power to Tanzania. We have that relationship. We are constructing a transmission line into South Sudan in Juba, from Oruyo through Nimule, Juba, so that we can do the trade. But we will go up to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is part of the Eastern African Power Pool. So we are working on the infrastructure together within the region. Then on the oil side, the East African crude oil pipeline is indeed an East African pipeline because it starts from Uganda and ends in Tanzania, in Tanga. The largest stretch actually is in Tanzania. This is a 1,423 kilometer pipeline. Uganda has only 260 something 267 kilometers. But oil is coming from our refinery in Hoima. So we have an agreement, intergovernmental agreement with Tanzania. A new pipeline is coming. We are extending. This is now for the finished products that are coming into the country right now. We are going to construct a finished product pipeline from Eldoret to Kenya, and it will end up in Kigali. EKK pipeline. We are creating a network of collaboration. We want to survive. The spiritual leader has just reminded us that no country will survive alone. Africa is very important. For us in East Africa, under the leadership of General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is the champion of East African Federation, we speak Africa. And Pan-Africanism is part of the 4 principles of the National Resistance Movement, which is a party in leadership in Uganda. Pan-Africanism. Our borders are open. We welcome everybody. We don't look at your nose or your color. You just come and enjoy Uganda. So I've prolonged the response because the docket is wide anyway. I am sorry. But I feel I should give you full package so that you walk out and end up in Entebbe, in Uganda, to come and invest. Thank you very much.
Oh,